What is the format of the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation exam, and what are the types of questions that you might expect if you are writing the foundation module of the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation suite? Let's learn that in this video. Hello, I am Ray and I am a PRINCE2 7th edition foundation and practitioner certified project manager with over 15 years of experience in project management. Currently, I work as a program manager in the UK and I'm an authorized training provider or an ATO for Axelos and PeopleCert, who are the accreditation organizations for the PRINCE2 certification. So PRINCE2, which essentially means Projects in Controlled Environment, is a complete framework for managing projects across various industries and disciplines. The framework is in its 7th edition now, and you should think of the PRINCE2 7th edition as a roadmap guiding you as a project manager from the very start of a project all the way to its successful delivery, maintaining a constant focus on the outcomes and the benefits the project will generate upon completion. Now in this video, we will do a deep dive into the exam format and the 7 types of questions that you can expect in the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation exam. Let's get going.
Right, so in this lecture, we'll be talking about the exam structure of the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation exam and the question types that you will be experiencing as part of this exam. Okay, we talked about the 7 question types. So we'll be going through examples of each one of those 7 question types as part of this lecture. So let's get started. Right, so let's understand the exam structure of the PRINCE2 foundation exam. So the entire exam is multiple choice types, guys. Okay, so you will not be expected to write any text-based information, or you are not expected to write any essays as part of this exam. All the questions are multiple choice questions, and you will get a distribution of the 7 types of questions that you will see as part of this lecture throughout the entire 60 questions that you are expected to solve as part of this test. Okay, so the duration of the test would be 1 hour. So basically it is 1 minute per question, which is very short, guys. Trust me, guys, that time will go in blink of an eye. So please be very cognizant about this fact and plan your time management strategy well. So that is something which you should not take lightly when you are aspiring to pass the PRINCE2 foundation exam to become a PRINCE2 certified project manager, right? The exam is closed book, guys. Okay, so the official PRINCE2 7th edition manual, which is the Axelos manual, will not be allowed with you when you are actually writing the exam over a proctored exam, right? So there are a lot of terms, concepts, definition, process flowcharts, etc., which you need to keep in mind when you are preparing for this exam. So the pass marks of the exam is 60%, which means that you need to get at least 36 questions correct out of these 60 questions. Okay, now for the PRINCE2 foundation exam, a pass is a pass, right? So even if you pass the exam with 61% versus a candidate who passes the exam with, let's say, 100%, there is no difference per se in terms of the certification level of the 2 candidates. Okay, the candidate who passed with 61% will also be called as a PRINCE2 certified PM, and the candidate who passed with 100% will also be designated as a PRINCE2 certified PM. Okay, however, since you are my student and you are taking this course, both of us will make honest attempt to maximize your score as much as possible in the actual exam. Okay, so I'm sure that if you take this course seriously and complete all the modules and learn from this course using the tips and strategies which I have already shared or which I'll be sharing across this course, you will face no challenges for scoring 80% or above in your actual PRINCE2 foundation exam, which is considered to be a very good score. Okay, let's move on. So there is no negative marking in this test. So it is advised that you at least complete the entire test, because if you leave any question unanswered, the exam system will consider it to be incorrect. Okay, so in the worst case scenario, if you are not able to manage your time well and you are rushing through the last set of the questions, please make sure that you marks at least something as part of your response before the exam times out. Okay, and also discussing about another scenario, if for a particular question you are not too sure about what answer to choose, make your best guess, mark an answer and move on. Okay, so the bottom line is, do not leave any question unanswered. Okay, so because that will impact heavily on your exam score. And finally, this exam is remotely proctored. So you are expected to book this test on the exam platform and then take this test from your home or from your workplace or from any remote workplace which has stable power and a reliable internet connection. So the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation exam will be monitored by a remote proctor. Your webcam will be on during the entire exam and the person on the other side will be monitoring you during the entire exam. And I'm assuming safely that none of you will take that approach. But if the proctor finds that you are using some unparliamentary practices or some unscrupulous practices while writing the actual exam, the exam will be cancelled then and there, and you will be blacklisted from writing the PRINCE2 certification exam again in your life. Okay, so please be very careful about that and do not fall for any unparliamentary practices while writing the exam. For example, exam proxies, cheating, etc., etc. I'm very sure that you won't do it, guys, but this is just for your knowledge that you maintain your best decorum during the exam process, because this exam is remotely proctored via your webcam. Next, let's talk about the breakup of the 60 questions. So this is a screenshot from the PRINCE2 7th edition foundation examination handbook, which is freely available to download from the Axelos website. So basically what this talks about is the breakup of these 60 questions. Okay, so these 60 questions will be having a split like this, which is the total 100% of the split. So for example, 60%, which is the maximum split, will be coming from the PRINCE2 practices, the 7 practices of PRINCE2. Okay, 15% or 14% will be coming across in terms of the processes of PRINCE2, in terms of understanding the importance of people in successful projects, etc., etc. Okay, so those will be the next set of questions that would be coming in terms of the number of questions split by this percentage, and the least number of questions will be coming from the understanding key concepts and understanding the principles, etc. Okay, so that is a broad split, guys. Now honestly, I don't feel that this should influence your preparation at all, because this doesn't mean that you will spend like a lot of time learning about the PRINCE2 practices, whereas for understanding the key concepts or understanding the principles, you will basically not spend any time. So it doesn't really work like that, right? Because when you are preparing for the exam, you prepare for the exam as a whole. Okay, these are some indicative numbers, which is good to know, but I don't think this will anyways impact your actual exam preparation process. Okay, because mind it, guys, you are preparing and learning about PRINCE2 not just for passing the exam, but also to become a good project manager, right? So how does it matter what is the split between the various sections in terms of the PRINCE2 syllabus, right? It shouldn't matter to you if you are preparing for the PRINCE2 exam. Please respect this as a subject and learn everything starting from the key concepts, moving on to the principles, moving on to the people, practices, processes, etc., etc., with the same sincerity and same diligence. Okay, you do not plan your preparation based on this weightage. Okay, this is some indicative number which will at least help you to understand the overall way in which the PRINCE2 foundation exam is designed. Now moving on, let's talk about the types of questions that you will experience in your PRINCE2 7th edition foundation exam. We were talking about the 7 types of questions. Now we'll look at some examples of these 7 types of questions. Okay, but before that, this is the list of the 7 types of questions. There is the standard multiple choice question type, there is the negative type, the multi-select type, blank fill-in type, correct type, most likely type, and the only type. Okay, so we'll see some examples of each of these question types. Now note that all the questions are multiple choice. Okay, I think we talked about this. You are not expected to write anything in text using your keyboard or write an essay, etc., etc. Okay, so you need to mark your answers just based on multiple choices. Questions are typically 1 or 2 liners, so you will not see questions which are like a paragraph long. So those type of questions are found in the practitioner level, not at the foundation level. For the foundation level exam, the questions are typically 1 or 2 liners. Okay, there could be 1 or multiple correct answer choices. So most of the questions, for example, the standard type, negative type, blank fill-in type, correct type, most likely, and the only type will have only single correct answer. However, the multi-select type, which is type number 3, will have 2 options which are correct, and the question will typically say that okay, you need to select 2 options which are the correct options. Okay, each question carry 1 mark. So if you mark it correctly, you are awarded 1 mark. If you mark it incorrectly, you are not awarded any mark, right? So there is no negative marking, and also note that there is no partial marking, guys, right? Very important. So for the multi-select type questions, you might think that okay, out of the 2 options, if I mark 1, I get 50% of the marks. If I mark both, I get 100% of the marks. Okay, it doesn't happen like that. that. To get it correct, you should mark both the options and then only you are awarded the full marks. So it's a 0-1 relationship. So there is no partial marking for multi-select type questions. And of course, we talked about this, that there is no negative marking. And hence, for this reason, I always tell my students that at least do not leave any question unanswered. Whatever may be the case, please go and mark something. Make your best guess and mark a answer choice. Do not leave any question unanswered, because an unanswered question in your PRINCE2 exam is treated as an incorrect answer response. Okay. Now moving on, let's look at the examples of the question types. Okay. So we'll look at the examples of the first 4 types on this slide, followed by type 5, type 6, and type 7. Okay. So to demonstrate the example, guys, I have taken examples of very simple questions drawn out of the first standard or second standard GK book. Okay. So maybe you can look at the first question. Okay. In which direction the sun rises? Okay. So we all know the correct answer to this question is option A. Okay. However, the intent is not to understand this question properly, okay, and then answer it, but the intent is to understand the structure of this question. So the structure of this question is a multiple choice type question where you have a question, 4 options, and only one option is correct, right? Which is option A, east. And that is how the multiple choice type questions would be. Again, let's look at the second type of question, which is the negative type. Again, it's a very basic question, guys. First level, second level mathematics. Which of the following is not a fraction number? Okay. So if you see the type of question is a negative type, so these type of questions will have this capital word not, and it will be framed like this. Okay. Which of this is not a XYZ? Okay. Not a something something as part of your actual PRINCE2 exam question. So you know the correct answer is option C, right? And this is also an example of a multiple choice type question where only one option is correct. Okay. Now, when you go and solve the actual mock tests, you will see actual questions which are PRINCE2 questions, and that would give you an idea in terms of how these questions are structured with respect to the PRINCE2 syllabus. However, for this exercise, I am using very rudimentary examples. Okay. Next, multi-select type questions. Okay, type 3. Which of the following are carnivorous animals? Choose 2. Okay, so these type of questions will always give you how many options are correct, and you need to select both the options to be awarded the full marks. I think we talked this already. So the correct answer to this question would be A, tiger, and C, lion, right? So we know that the tiger is a carnivorous animal and the lion is also a carnivorous animal. Now, to be entitled for the full marks, you need to mark both A and C in your response sheet. That way, you'll be getting the full marks for this question. If you mark only A or only C, it will be treated as an incorrect response. Okay, very important. Let's move on. Type 4. So these type of questions are typically fill in the blanks type questions, right? Which we practice even from the first level, second level, third level of our school. Okay. So let's look at this question. In the English alphabet series, the letter that comes after D is, so we all know the answer, after D comes E, right? So E is the correct answer choice. And if you see the type of the question is blank fill in type, and it also has a single answer response, which is correct. Again, guys, I'm reiterating the fact that these examples are rudimentary examples to help you understand the structure of the questions. Next, let's look at the type 5, type 6, and type 7 questions. Let's look at type 5. So type 5 question is the correct type. How is this question structured? It is structured like this. Which of the following statement is correct? Okay, so it is asking that which of the following statements is correct, and there are 4 statements that are provided, A, B, C, and D, and we know that the correct answer to this question is option C, which is the sun rises in the east. Again, correct type question, it will have this phrase is correct in capital letters, and you are expected to select one option, which is the correct option out of the 4 options provided. Let's look at the next type, which is type 6. Similar structure. The only difference is the capitalized phrase, which is most likely. Which type of animals are most likely to be found in the sea? Okay, whales and sharks, lions and tigers, peacocks and hummingbirds, giraffes and donkeys. So we know the correct answer to this question is option A, which is whales and sharks. Okay, lions and tigers, peacocks and hummingbirds, giraffes and donkeys generally are not found in the sea, right? Okay, so for this most likely type of questions, again, there will be a question stem. There will be this phrase, which is most likely in capital letters, and there will be 4 options, and you need to select the best option out of these 4 options. Finally, let's look at the 7th type of question, which is the only type. Okay, so the only difference here is this word of only, which is capitalized, and there is a question stem followed by 4 options, and you need to select the best option out of the 4. Which of the following animals is only found in the forest? Okay, so the correct answer to this question would be option B, which is lion. Okay, so lion is the only animal out of these four which can be found in the forest. Okay, so I hope with these examples, at least now you know what are the 7 types of questions that you will experience in your PRINCE2 Foundation exam.
Now, over the next few weeks, I would be publishing some tutorial videos on the actual PRINCE2 Foundation questions for you to practice as well on this channel. Now, that will provide you with the exact look and feel of how a multi-select question looks like, let's say how a negative type of question looks like, etc., etc. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel and keep your bell notifications on. I hope the video was helpful for you. Keep an eye out for the next video within this series where we will solve actual type 1 to type 7 questions from the PRINCE2 exam syllabus. Now, if you are willing to get PRINCE2 certified, you can reach out to me via the details as mentioned on screen. Okay, I'm an ATO, which means an authorized training provider for PRINCE2, and I can share with you further details about my training materials and services in case if you are interested. So if you have liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and I'll see you again in the next one.